Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and today we're going to be doing an update to my beginner guide for campaign and node farming. Now, the last one I think I may have done about 5 or 6 months ago, so I think it's about time that I update this to kind of let people know who is worth prioritizing now, especially if you're in the early and mid games. Now, this has been updated to patch 6.1, so it does include any of the recently reworked characters, and I have ranked both the store and node guides and ordered them so you know who to focus on first. Of course, though, this is my own personal opinions of a character's worth, and some may or may not agree with my assessments, and I'm more than happy to hear criticisms about this in the comments down below if you so wish. Otherwise, I hope that this helps you all to better inform your farming decisions. So without further ado, let's go boil this down. Alright, and so we're going to be starting off here with the store farm guide, and I just want to let people know that this will be, both this and the campaign node guide will be in the description down below, so if you want a link to this, you can find that, and also on my Discord as well. So we're going to start off by, and before I get started here, so I have tier 1 priorities, tier 2 priorities, and tier 3 priorities. Basically, the tier 1 priorities, as far as the stores go, with Blitz and Raid, not necessarily with Arena because it works a bit differently. I think that people should at least unlock or get to 5-star these characters in the tier 1 priority for Blitz and Raid. After that, you know, there is the Raid Orb, and it's a good way to use those orbs to get a more wider spread of characters for cheaper. So just to let people know about how that works. For the Arena, the Arena Orb is not very good, so I don't recommend doing that personally, and War does not have an orb for character shards, unfortunately, at this time. So starting things off here is Gamora. Now, Gamora had a rework for Infinity Watch last June now, but she's still a very strong, powerful early character to get, so she's someone I recommend even stand alone. You can do Gamora and Nebula together, which we'll talk about when we get to the campaign node guides, but Gamora is also just fine standalone too. Some of the more important ones, though, I would also say, when I have them ranked like this in this section, they're in no particular order, it's just I think all of them are really good. OG Spiderman and Miles Morales, they're both in the Blitz Orb for 500 cost. They're part of the Web Warriors team, a very strong team right now that were reworked in December, January. And they're also part of Scourge 1 Pestilence, which is a legendary event to unlock Morgan Le Fay. So you're going to want to have these characters built up regardless because of that. So it's good to start early on. And you actually start the game with Spider-Man, but if you want to get more shards for him, you're going to get out of the Blitz store. Shang-Chi and Silver Samurai, I've kind of lumped them a little bit together. As of the recording of this video, they're both in the orbs. However, Shang-Chi should be available in the store at 500 credits as well pretty soon, or by the release of this video. He's an amazing Hero City skill character. Now, I know that Doom Raid and like that stuff is very, you know, late game kind of stuff, but Shang-Chi is still an amazing character and worth building. Silver Samurai, he's still very important, but I wouldn't say he's as important as the others here on this list, but he's still someone that you should probably get shards for, and frankly, you're going to get shards for him anyways. He's going to be in the Blitz Orb, so when you're doing this to get a wider spread of characters, you're inevitably going to collect shards for Silver Samurai. It's probably not that difficult. As far as the Arena store, as tier 1 priority, I'm putting this as M'Baku, because not only did the Wakandas get a rework this patch, which makes them a lot better. He's also part of the Chaos Theory Flash event, which helps you get silver and gold promotion credits, which then help you get more red stars on your characters. So the Wakandas are very important, and M'Baku is pretty easy to get, and you should be getting them there first. Now, for raids, there's a couple of characters that are worth buying. Sharon Carter, Baron Zemo, Killmonger, and Cloak. Sharon Carter as part of the Secret Avengers team, and also used to unlock Omega Red. Baron Zemo, very strong starting villain character that you can use for your campaigns. He's also usable again in Doom War Chapter 2, and frankly, he's just an all-around good character that you never know when he's going to pop up in his usefulness, and I think he has a really good kit that's going to last for a while. He's incredibly fast, he can ability block, and he's kind of like in this weird speed meta kind of thing. Blows apart minions, very strong. Killmonger, very similar to my answers for M'Baku, although he actually triples in Flash events, so not only can you use him for the Wakandan Chaos Theory, you can use him for Payday, the Mercenary Payday, and the Skilletary training module event, which isn't the most important. Payday's more important, but still, Really good character, and 3 flash events, oh my. And then Cloak, just a very strong Hero City Mystic character, so I think he's worth kind of still building, he's worth unlocking, and he's worth kind of using in your roster for a little while. Maria Hill, also the #1 war character. If you're going to buy any characters out of the war store, personally, to me, it's going to be Maria Hill. Again, like Sharon Carter in that Secret Avengers team and required in Omega Red. As far as tier 2 priorities, most of this is going to be relevant to flash events or legendaries. I'm not going to maybe, make mention of every single character here, but Electro and Rhino, so part of the Sinister Six grouping is used to unlock both Invisible Woman and Shuri. Shuri is a little bit more important here than Invisible Woman for the same reasons of Killmonger and M'Baku for Chaos Theory. Very important, and you kind of need Shuri for Chaos Theory once you get to tier 5 and above, because you can't do it without her. Kree Royal Guard for Nick Fury, Merc Riot Guard for Payday Gold Event, the Flash Event, and all of these are found in the Blitz store. I've kind of just, lump them together here. Kree Oracle, Mysterio, Yo-Yo, and Merc Soldier for raids at tier 2. Now, Kree Oracle is used for Nick Fury, Mysterio, again, Sinister Six for Invisible Woman and Shuri. Yo-Yo, just a good all-around character to have. She's S.H.I.E.L.D., Inhumans, and used in the Scourge 2 Famine Rogue event, which has yet to happen, but yeah, I'll be using her there as well. Merc Soldier for the Payday and Skeletal Flash events. He actually doubles for 2 Flash events, so I think he's worth picking up, but not by shards necessarily. At this point, when you're in the second tier. For some of these characters, like in the Blitz store, you could buy directly, but it would be also okay just to buy Blitz Orbs, Raid Orbs, to kind of get more broader shards for these characters. So you don't have to necessarily go out of your way to get these, unless you're like really close on star ranks, then you can, just buy it if you want to. Deadpool and Swarm in Arena store. So this is just largely for legendary events. Deadpool is, though, doubles a little bit here, Doc Ock's event, and for Payday Gold event. Swarm, again, part of that Sinister Six grouping. Ghost in the War Store, and actually one character I think I forgot to add in here, and maybe I'll just do that really quickly here, is Minerva. I don't think she's super important. I think that Ghost is still probably more important than her. Minerva is like a villain tech support character. She used to be one of the top raid healers in the game. Maybe I'll add that, support healer. She's not anywhere, especially for war credit, she's not as important as someone like Maria Hill. And she used to be one of the best characters, but just isn't anymore. Ghost, while is part of that Pym Tech team for Jubilee, I think she's still worth building for Dark Dimension 3 Global. And Ghost is the only person on the Pym Tech team that you need to solo the Jubilee event. So if you get Ghost to about Gear Tier 14, down the line, it's more than capable of soloing the various levels of the Jubilee Legendary event. Which is why they actually changed the method for Adam Warlock into this new Mythic Legendary, the way that you have to like gear them up, where you have to gear everyone up. It's because of Ghost. Ghost ruined it. So tier 3, this is basically like the dregs. These aren't super important, but like, if you're done with the others, then you can consider some of these characters. You have the Blitz store here. Ant-Man, Domino, Misty Knight, and Luke Cage. Ant-Man and Domino for legendary unlocks. Personally, I don't put Jubilee and Doc Ock at a seriously high bar for like priorities in order to have to, unlock. If you happen to be able to do that because you have the shards, then great, but I wouldn't go out of your way to do this at this stage anymore. Misty Knight and Luke Cage, Heroes for Hire, City Heroes, and Gamma Raid. It's not a huge priority in my opinion at this stage. Other raid characters, Sabretooth, Rocket Raccoon, Kitty Pryde, Ronan, and Loki. Sabretooth for Weapon X, but you do need Omega Red for this to really make it work. Rocket Raccoon is for the Star-Lord unlock and Nowhere Heist Flash event, which is a very end game Flash event. I do have videos on that. I'm not going to go into great detail here. Kitty Pryde, same thing, and Astonishing X-Men, which I think is on its way out, and I'm not sure it's worth building, but again, she's a Nowhere Heist character. Ronan for Phoenix, Loki for Black Bolt and Phoenix, and Speed Meta, I could have put him in tier 2, but I think for newer players now, it's just not a huge deal, in my opinion. Shatterstar, Red Guardian, Scarlet Witch, Heimdall, and Mordo for Arena. Now, again, you can read the notes here. In my opinion, not super important. That's why they're in tier 3. At least at this stage, some people are talking about whether or not there's going to be a rework for Hero as Guardians in patch 6.2. And if that's the case, I'll rework these figures here. But until then, they're pretty low priority for me. Bishop, Longshot, Sif, X-23, and Sinister in War. These are tier 3 priorities. You could read the notes here as well. Bishop for the same reason I mentioned about Kitty Pryde, though. I think Astonishing X-Men's on its way out. If you're an early game player, I wouldn't even bother about that because Doom Raid likely is going to be like 6+ months out for some people. So I just wouldn't really consider, you know, gearing characters that are obviously going to be obsolete by that point. So the characters that you want to focus on are obviously in this tier 1 priority that's going to make the most sense. So again, I'll have this chart in the descriptions down below if you want to take a look at it another time, or just pause it, you know, when I'm at certain stages. Campaign node guide. This is going to be the second part of the video here, and these are characters that you can farm on nodes. And so they're kind of organized by where their locations are: heroes, villains, Nexus, Cosmic, Mystic, and Doom. So here we have the tier 1 priority characters, again, similar to the store guide here. We have Kree Noble, Heroes 2-9 for Nick Fury. We have Miles Morales, 3-3, Heroes 3-3 for Web Warriors and Scourge. But as you know, that Miles is also in the Blitz store, so you don't have to exactly spend your energy here on Miles necessarily. But if you do want to like double farm him, then there's ways to get that here. Kree Reaper, Heroes 4-6, Nick Fury. And I do want to say that this is Kree minions only for Nick Fury. And start as early as you possibly can, because the earlier you finish this, the earlier you can put it away. Once you get them to 5-star, I don't think you need any more than 5-star Nick Fury personally, because you need Nick Fury to get Omega Red, which is why it's so important. But just, and same with Winter Soldier, you know, not a very good character, but just farm him to 5-6-star or whatever, so that you have it ready for Omega Red when you need it, and then you can stop and you don't have to think about it ever again. America Chavez, villain 6-9, so she's part of that Young Avengers team, and Scourge 2, Famine Rogue requirements. So getting started again on some of these earlier than later allows you to kind of just like get it out of the way, right? Kree Cyborg, I misspelt that's for sure. Same deal with Kree Noble and all of those things for Nick Fury. Squirrel Girl, again, part of that Young Avengers and Scourge 2 Rogue team. Black Panther and Okoye, both of them in Nexus, actually. Same deal as the other Wakandans, Chaos Theory, Flash Event, and Rework. We have Miss Marvel, again, another Young Avengers. So you have like 4 Young Avengers really on nodes, actually, here between Heroes, Villains, Nexus, and Mystic. So yes, for the same reasons, I'm not going to repeat myself. Lady Deathstrike, Mystic 3-6. This is the most recent addition. A very strong standalone character, and for the Weapon X team, which she is actually useful without Omega Red, so I think that you should actually consider this. I actually keep forgetting to farm her. I don't have her maxed out. I just forget to farm into Mystic, because normally everything that I farm on a daily basis is in Doom Raid, or Doom War. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. Cap Sam, he's the only tier 1 that I put as a priority in Doom 2-6. Now, this is going to be a bit of a later game farm. So Doom War requires level 70+. I believe Doom 2 actually requires level 75. So this is more of a mid-game kind of thing to do. So new players won't be able to do this. But Cap Sam is a very important character still at this point. 4 Secret Avengers and Omega Red alongside Maria Hill and Sharon that we talked about in the store farm guide. But if you have access to Cap Sam, if you've unlocked him, make sure to build him. You know, if you get him in, if you're lucky and you get him in orbs and things like that. But otherwise, once you get around to Doom, make sure that you're farming him as well. So these are the 2 tier priority characters. Again, typically Flash Events and Legendaries. We have Mysterio. He's actually still on a node, so if you want to farm him earlier on before the raid store, you can double up here, and that will get you to 5-star quicker. Captain Marvel, Hero 6-9, and that's for A-Force and Scourge 2, the Rogue event. Korath, Payday Gold event. Some people, I put a star here because some people say that they farm Merc Lieutenant instead of Korath. The reason why I like doing Korath is because he's a real character. Merc Lieutenant is a minion, and I think if there's ever a Kree rework down the line, they may include Korath as a real character, so that's why I just kind of put him there, because I think he might get some love one day. Nebula and Elsa Bloodstone in the Nexus campaign at tier 2. Nebula for Infinity Watch alongside Gamora, like I mentioned in the store guide. Also, Bloodstone is part of this new Dark Hunters team from a patch or 2 ago, and they are used in the Scourge Pestilence event as well. So kind of worth farming a little bit. It's not the highest priority for that Scourge 1. Web Warriors is the main team for that, but Dark Hunter still is a useful grouping as well. Taskmaster and Ghost Rider in Cosmic. Taskmaster for the Payday Gold event, Flash event, which is like the next most important Flash event in my opinion after the Chaos Theory event. Though that's probably the second. And Ghost Rider for, again, part of the Dark Hunters team like Elsa Bloodstone here. So that's a tier 2 priority. Tier 3, there's quite a few. And I just want to say at this, maybe I should have said this earlier. If they're not mentioned, they're not important. And if they're not on this list, I just didn't bother to put them at all because I don't feel you even have to like waste your energy to farm them at all. And that's just what it is. You know, so if they're on this list, there's some degree of usefulness. If they're not anywhere on these lists, they're not important. Tier 3 Punisher. So again, Skeletal Flash event is not one of my most important Flash events. So they're kind of in Tier 3 anywhere they have characters. Black Widow, Wasp, Hela, and Iceman. These two particularly are level 70 plus because you can't get access to this section of villains until 70 plus. Again, not super important characters for new and mid-game players now, in my opinion. Wasp, anything Jubilee related is also going to be Tier 3, and Skeletor is all Tier 3. Astonishing X-Men is Tier 3 for me at this point. And Adam Warlock as well, surprisingly. And I know people are going to probably not like this, but yeah, I don't think Adam Warlock, because you need Jubilee to get Adam Warlock, so thus all of those are Tier 3 priorities in my opinion. Polaris, but you know, if you have, again, if you've done all this stuff up here, you know, or, you know, you have extra energy to do some of these, then, you know, go for it. I just don't think it's a top priority, really. Polaris and Stature here, anyways, for Cosmic. Cable for Mystic 1-9 for the Doc Ock event, but you're really blocked behind Negasonic. But what's interesting about the Doc Ock event is actually it was recently dumbed down to a 4-star unlock, not a 5-star. So if you do get lucky on some orb pulls for Negasonic, because she is behind Doom War, and Doom War is a level 70 plus campaign, so there's nothing you can really do about this until you get to the stage where you can 3-star this node. And so the rest of them, which are locked behind this level 70 plus Doom War campaign, Negasonic at Doom War 1-9 for Doc Ock, Moondragon as part of Infinity Watch for Doom 2-6, Yellow Jacket as part of Jubilee for Doom 3-6, and Multiple Man as part of Adam Warlock's event for Doom 3-9. And so that's kind of why they're in the Tier 3 category, is because for the most part, there's nothing you can do about Jubilee and Adam Warlock unless you spend money to get Yellow Jacket and Multiple Man early, because you can't get to these areas until your commander level 75 plus or higher, which takes you some deal of time. And so for that reason, I have a lot of the legendary events in that Tier 3 category. So Doc Ock, Jubilee, Adam Warlock, you know, any of these characters, Phoenix and Black Bolt, any of these characters, in my opinion, that are required to unlock these characters are in a Tier 3 priority category. But anyone, I personally recommend all of these Tier 1 characters for each list, both the campaign node guide here and the store farm guide here. These are some of the most important characters that you should have at 5-star or above on your roster, because you're going to be using them in a lot of places. And that's just the end of it. A lot of the Tier 2 characters are good, but they're not to be used necessarily. They're mainly to clear events. So you don't need to go like balls to the wall and upgrading them. You just need to get them to where you need to be to clear the specific events that they're involved in. The Tier 1 characters are the ones that, you know, you can gear, and that's fine because you're going to make use of them. The other ones, not necessarily so. So, I hope that this guide, this spreadsheet helped you to kind of figure out where and who you want to build, and that it helps you figure out what you're missing maybe as well, and what you haven't been thinking about. So like I said, this is going to be available in the description down below if you want to take a look at it another time. If you want to share with your alliance, or if you want to share with any friends that are playing Marvel Strike Force, then feel free to do so, and I hope that this really helped. So that's the end of the video, and of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see y'all later. Boilon signing out.